Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to COD Zombies HQ. In this video, we're going to be taking a casual tour around outside of the map here on 9. Specifically pointing out some of the things that you can't see when you're just inside the map normally, as well as some of the outside of the map secrets that we'll kind of cover in more detail in a later video. So to give you a preview of today's tour, first we're going to check out outside of the boundaries of the arena itself, then we're going to go underneath the map to check out the interesting underbelly of 9, and finally we're going to go way up into the sky to show you the secret skybox on the map that nobody's seen before. Remember to keep your hands and feet inside the ride vehicle at all times, and flash photography is permitted. So let's start off this tour with something that you all noticed from inside of the map, and that being the character models of the actual audience. Now, there's two different character models for the audience. The first is on the lower level, and that's what you're seeing here, where the character models are pretty well detailed. They're all individual. Some are wearing hoods, others are not. They all look really cool. It's neat that Treyarch was able to stuff so many of them inside of the map. But now going to the upper level, you can see that these character models, they're not so good. They're not as detailed. You can tell the models and textures are just toned down considerably. They've been run through the JPEG filter many times. Just because they're further back from the player's view, they can actually be lower quality and we won't notice as much. Now, checking out the two zombies that are beating the drums on the map that you can hear when you're inside of the actual Coliseum area. They're looking really fearsome. They have two skulls on the end of their drumsticks, and that's what they use to batter the drums. These are really cool looking zombies. A great view into the Coliseum itself there. And now let's go ahead and take a look into some of the hallways that are actually around the Coliseum proper. These are the hallways that we would assume the people in the stands would use to get into the stadium itself. Now taking a look back over the outside of the Coliseum, you can see there briefly that there is nothing on the actual outside of the map. There seems to be just a long flat area of ground. But as we come back into the Coliseum, we're gonna head around the rest of the stands from way high up, looking down, kind of taking a look in some of the nooks and crannies of the Coliseum itself, finally arriving into what some people believe to be maybe like a second boss fight arena on the map. This pretty much confirms that that is not the case. This area with the central obelisk is not a second boss fight arena, and that's simply because it doesn't have any camera collision here. The regular boss fight does. It has camera collision, meaning if you could imagine the boss fight arena as a big box, an invisible box above it that a camera cannot exit or enter, this place does not have that, meaning we can't go here. You can see some of the more interesting details around this area though. Some carts and buggies kind of laying around, strewn about within the map, and heading inside of the arch itself, we can see that there's nothing really of note in there. Some kind of broken textures and things phasing into each other, obviously because we aren't supposed to see in there. So we're gonna head back into the corridor itself, then work our way up to the very tippity top of the map, get a pretty good view. It's interesting to see that the top of this actual temple has only a facade and it doesn't kind of follow the slant around for the rest of the structure. So it definitely is a neat looking building here. And we're actually gonna take a look at the carving here, which is extremely detailed, which is kind of surprising for how far outside of the map this is located. But I guess if you have a sniper and you can take a look at this, you'll be able to see it in much better detail. Heading over to the other side of the arena now, we're going to make our way towards the podium area. As you can see in this area, there's another obelisk, some pretty well detailed actual geometry here, heading up the stairs towards the very back of the map where it's totally blocked off, can't go any further, but we can actually enter the viewing tent that we see here and get a really good look into the Coliseum itself. Now as we head down into some of the other nooks and crannies of the map, you can see here some just weird entrance ways that you can see just off the Coliseum itself. We're going to work our way around towards the bottom boss fight arena, and then head underneath the map to check out the unseen underbelly of this map. It's really cool, but kind of phasing back towards that central area, there's 2 more carvings on the actual stone here. Really detailed, excellent work by Treyarch to actually make these, and finally ending off with the huge cauldron that is located at the top of the map. As you can see here, it is actually a floating cauldron. It's not held on anything, and we can actually maneuver our camera with inside the cauldron itself. Doesn't have any collision associated with it, but it looks fantastically cool. So let's head around towards a view of the boss fight arena, just checking out some of the nooks and crannies here. And now we can actually start heading down below underneath the stadium to show you guys the view from there. As we actually head underneath the seating area, we can get a view of the spectators from another perspective there. You can see right through the bottom of the map, just kind of getting a general view of the behind the scenes areas of the nooks and crannies we explored from inside the map's perspective earlier. And now we're just going to take a wide sweep underneath the spectator area looking inside the map. Okay, so now that we've seen all there is to see above the map, although we're going to take a closer look at the statues of the gods a little later in this video, now it's time to go underneath the map itself and explore it from this entirely new perspective. Starting out here, heading down underneath the main boss fight arena on the map, and specifically checking out the underneath of the big pillar that is located in the middle of that arena. You can see it extends quite a bit further underneath the map itself. Now sweeping underneath the map, you can even see the leaves that are falling down that you see on the map, falling down from the temple above. They continue right through the floor, and you can see the leaves falling underneath the map. Now this is pretty interesting. So when you look down underneath the map, you can see that there appears to be some kind of structure down there. Now we can't actually force our camera to get down there, unfortunately. There is a barrier at the actual very bottom of the map, which is interesting because most maps don't have a barrier this high up. You can actually go way down, but this area is most likely the location you are teleported to during the one step of the main Easter egg, where you have to damage growths from a tree. Now a lot of people have speculated that this might be some kind of new area, and well, because we can't actually get a great view on it itself, that is still possible that there might be some kind of small area or arena down there that we haven't visited that isn't associated with the Easter egg step, but because we can't get a close enough view, we can't confirm it. Then there is also this, here I'll zoom in on it on your screen here too, this weird object on the screen here. I'm not 100% sure what this is. Its shape almost reminds me of the mystery box, but not exactly sure what the mystery box would be doing all the way underneath the map. But let's go ahead and start looking back up at the map itself. You can see that the underbelly of the map looks very different from when you're actually playing it. You can see through some of the surfaces back up into the map proper. This itself is a zombie spawn, a very big zombie spawning area of the map. We can see some interesting things poking through the map, like a gate and other elements of geometry that Treyarch used to spice up the map from the inside. We can see their handiwork when checking it from the outside. Now continuing to explore underneath the map here, we definitely get a unique perspective of some of the more beautiful areas of the map here, like this area here where you have the fake light shining down from above. But perhaps more interesting, just beside this area we can meet our little friend the rat, for some reason scurrying around in midair here outside of the map. I don't know what this guy is doing here, whether he's programmed to shuffle around inside the map and then just walks right through the walls. I don't know how far he keeps walking, if he just goes off into the distance, but a rat is definitely not a find you're expecting here outside of the map. Now I'm just kind of perusing, checking out some of the other areas until we get to this room itself. Now this room is interesting because it isn't isn't a zombie spawn, but it might as well be. It's huge. It's almost like something was supposed to be here, whether it was a cut area of the map or something that they just decided they can't extend any further. But another interesting detail about this room is that we can actually get inside of this room in-game right now in Black Ops 4. It's one of the secret rooms on the map where we can head in here. As you can see, the lighting is totally off. It's much lighter than anything else on the map. The lighting kind of stops at a certain point, and we can walk around here, check it out. You can't really do much. You can't actually get outside of the map here. What might have been at one point another zombie spawn on the map, or in fact another secret room that was cut late into the development of 9. As we continue underneath the map, there is this large plane of cobblestone that exists underneath the floor of the map. It is huge, and I don't believe it's used anywhere on the map itself. It's just here. It has collision. I can't move my camera down below it if I'm on top of it, if that makes sense. Almost like if you're able to glitch down here and play down here, I guarantee your camera will actually be able to walk on top of this cobblestone here and not just straight fall down and underneath the map. Now we get a good view of the actual Pack-a-Punch room here. The Pack-a-Punch isn't activated in this game, but we can see the Pack-a-Punch container in all its glory from underneath, as well as checking out some of the other details like the skulls that are punctuated in the outer ring of the Pack-a-Punch arena. There's also some other weird geometry of this map, like this inverted arch that's kind of hanging out below underneath the map. I can't really see what it's used for above, but you can see that above us is actually water, and we kind of glitch right back into the map if we head out with our camera. But now that we're back on the surface, we can take a look at some of the huge statues of the gods on the map that are very well detailed. Beginning here with Zeus, you can see the statue itself is awesome. It doesn't have collision, so we can move our camera right into it. It doesn't have any Easter eggs associated with it, unfortunately. Nothing like the Heart of the City Easter egg from Grand Theft Auto 4, if anyone remembers that. But the statue itself is really cool. Heading over to Odin here to check it out. It's awesome as well. We can head inside the base of the pedestal as well, just like we can for Zeus. The statues themselves are huge objects that kind of stand on top of the roof. You can even see as we move the camera around the base of the pedestals that these seem to be just their own huge objects that was just plopped right on top of the thatched roof of the temples, and they definitely make an impression towering over the map itself. After we're done checking out the Danu temple, I want to show you guys something really cool on this map that might be associated with an Easter egg, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, if we move our camera way above the barrier of the map, all of a sudden the skybox changes. Now, we're not in daytime here on 9. As the stars start appearing from the background, you can see the galaxies beyond. It is now a nighttime skybox, and looking down from above, we can see the actual fires burning on the map. If we move our camera down a little bit, it becomes daytime. Back up again and wait for a little while, the stars will start to appear once more. Perhaps there's some kind of way within the map itself to trigger this nighttime skybox to spawn in. The skybox itself looks absolutely beautiful, and while the daytime is a very welcome change of pace in zombies maps, I loved when Gorod Krovi used it. I love how it's used here on 9. I can't help imagining what this map, or actually the Coliseum portion of the map, would look at night with a clear sky and stars twinkling above. Well, that wraps up this tour, guys. I hope you had a nice trip. If you did, be sure to tippity tap that thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody in Notification Squad. You guys are absolutely awesome of bringing the hype. Outside of the map here on 9 was a very fun map to tour. If you want to see a tour of a different zombies map outside of the map itself, let me know down in the comments and I'll take a look at maybe doing another outside of the map tour. But I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you with another zombies video tomorrow. Peace.